on. Is it on? All right, it's on.
Yeah, get the schedule up. It's not our faces, but
What is up, guys? Welcome back to D. Haynes and Doc Fantasy Sports Podcast. But it's going to be a little bit different today. Today, we aren't going to talk about fantasy numbers like we normally do with you guys. Instead, we're just going to be talking about the NFL free agency so far and kind of the recap of what has gone on. And tell you what, there's been some big moves this offseason so far. And then, you know, they're still coming. There's still a lot of free agency guys out there that are going to be big hits for some teams. So, you know what? We'll just jump right into it here. Newport, you got something to start with?
I'm excited to talk about some of this stuff. You know what? Let's start off with the Bills. What do you say?
Let's do the Bills. Let's do it.
Okay, so how we're going to go is we're going to talk about some of the biggest names. There's a lot of moving players, a lot of linemen, defensive players. We're not going to talk about all that, just the big ones, just the big hits, because that's what you want to know. You know, this is fantasy. There's no fantasy in OL unless they're going to drastically change the quarterback season.
Yep.
We'll start off with the Bills, okay? So the Bills signed Curtis Samuel to a 3-year deal. All right. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up on that one. Curtis Samuel, great player, amazing player for a team that didn't push him to what he could be. Fantasy-wise, that's huge. I think that the Bills need to deal their top wide receiver to the Cowboys because that would be fantastic. He wants out anyways. And I think if that happened, Curtis Samuel would be huge for fantasy, gigantic. So,
absolutely. And one thing, I mean, you know, with them getting rid of Gabe Davis, I feel like Curtis Samuel just fits with that team more than Davis did, just because, I mean, especially in fantasy purposes, like Davis was all over the place. He would have a standout game, and then he would have a game that he was just dud. But I feel like Curtis Samuel can get those little extra yards that Davis never really got. And, you know, I feel like Josh Allen will have a better target share with Curtis Samuel rather than Davis. So I think it's a good pickup.
And we'll talk about where Davis went as well later on down the show. That's the biggest thing for the Bills. No other big signings. Moving on here to the Dolphins. We had 2 big signings other than some defensive players, as we've said. But that's safety Jordan Poyer for a one-year deal and tight end Jonnu Smith for 2 years, $10 million.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Poyer is a big hit for the Dolphins. I think that the Bills will definitely miss him. But I think Poyer is one of the best safeties in the league. And
you love Poyer.
Yeah, I do. And with the Dolphins getting him, it's just going to add to their team because I believe they also picked up Fuller, if I remember correctly, which is another great cornerback / free safety as well. And then Jonnu Smith, I mean, coming from the Falcons, he was used actually a lot more than he should have been used, especially being side by side with Pitts. But I feel like he will fit the Dolphins scheme very, very well, and might be on the tight end fantasy watch, you know, for next year. What are your thoughts?
I think a lot of Mike Gesicki didn't do it for me for the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the fastest players in the league, I think it's great to have a bubble guy that's huge.
Yep.
Like just a big guy that just sits in the bubble and waits. And I think that's what Jonnu Smith is good at. I think that's why he got playing time in Atlanta, because Kyle Pitts goes for slant routes, midfield, 10 and slant in.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like what he does. And I'm excited to see him alone in an improved Atlanta offense. But speaking for Jonnu Smith here, I also think he's going to do well. So both Jordan Poyer and Jonnu Smith, that's a thumbs up for me. Do you give them thumbs up, thumbs down? Or
I give thumbs up. I think those are 2 great ads for the Dolphins.
I'm here
on both sides of the ball.
All right, moving on to a team that I'm excited about this year. The New York Jets. They just signed wide receiver Mike Williams from the Chargers for a 1-year deal of $15 million, and Tyron Smith, offensive tackle from the Cowboys, for a 1-year deal of $20 million. So, what do you think?
First off, I just want to give a quick stop and pause because I just got a notification. News is in. Tre'Davious White, the cornerback from the Bills, is now joining the Los Angeles Rams.
That's huge. We can talk about that when the Rams come up. We'll throw that in there.
Yep. But no.
Breaking news.
Yes, breaking news right here, guys. Right here. Mike Williams, I think, is a great ad. Now, the only thing is, I always have to laugh about this because of how long it lasted last year, but will he last longer than one drive or one play? I'm hoping he does for his sake and for the Jets' sake, but I think Mike Williams is a great ad, especially on the other side of Garrett Wilson, so he has a lot more options. And then Tyron Smith, I know, he's been one of the better offensive tacklers in the league, so having him for a year at least for the Jets will help a lot, especially protecting Rodgers.
Yeah, so I think Mike Williams is this for me.
Is neutral?
He's a neutral. I think he's a great player. I don't know how he's going to fit.
Yeah.
I really don't. With Garrett Wilson and a lot of other talent on that Jets offense, with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, I'm not sure where he fits. Tyron Smith, on the other hand, getting Aaron Rodgers' weak side, that's huge.
Yes.
That's huge because that's how he got hurt last season.
Correct.
So, super interested in that. I do like the Jets. I've liked them for a long time. I like the Jets and the Giants just because I've done some time in New York City and I loved it. So I always kind of like New York teams. But no, I think overall they're getting a neutral for me.
Yeah.
On a team I'm excited about. So I give them a neutral.
I say a neutral as well. The only reason I say neutral, Sorry.
Thank you. Okay. Yep.
The only reason I say neutral is just because I feel like Mike Williams still hasn't proved himself, and if he does prove himself, this year in this offense, I feel like he could be a playmaker. He really could be. I think he has the potential to be. But
the only thing that I have to say about that, though, is that he's had the opportunity to be a playmaker. He's had Justin Herbert, and he's the number one guy because Keenan Allen gets hurt.
Yeah.
With no other talent on the team, and somehow Quentin comes out of nowhere and starts catching the ball. I mean, he's had the opportunity with a top, arguably 6 quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
that's
my opinion.
We'll find out. See how it goes.
Next team. Also a team I love. I just got rid of the hat because I thought it was funny to wear this because of the Shohei scandal. Baltimore. Also, RIP to people that fell on that bridge today and died. Yes. That was horrible.
Yep.
Baltimore Ravens, though, running back Derrick Henry signs a 2-year, $16 million contract. I love it.
It's a beast.
I love it. I thought this was going to happen from the beginning. The Cowboys, I wanted them to have him, but they never even talked to him. No. Derrick Henry came out and said that they never even reached out to him. But Derrick Henry in this offense, I do really like. A lot of analysts say it's not going to work well, blah, blah, blah. I love it because you offer 2 options. The option as a play is one of the strongest plays in the NFL. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when you have a quarterback that's faster than everybody on the field and a running back that is a bowling ball, I don't know how you stop it. I just don't know how you stop it. And with the up and coming wide receivers, the young guys that they have, granted, they dropped the ball in the playoffs. They did. But I think that's a coaching thing.
I do too.
I'm excited about the Baltimore Ravens, and I think they're going to be the first in the AFC next year. So,
and I think, a lot of these people that are saying it's not a great fit, I disagree because Baltimore Ravens was the number 1 running team in the NFL last year. Derrick Henry, hello. Give him the ball. Yeah. And then, like you said, the option with Lamar Jackson and Henry. Who do you go for? You have to pick and choose if you're a defense. So, good luck.
And I'm pretty sure he had the second most yards again last year, very quietly.
Very quietly.
So,
yep.
He is not washed. He's not old. No one wants to tackle him still. So
this is my take. This is my take on the trade.
I like the
pickup.
Ravens, dude. I hope they win soon. I'm interested in them.
Yep.
All right, next team, Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati drop-offs. They signed running back Zach Moss for a 2-year, $8 million contract from the Colts, and they have attempted to franchise tag T. Higgins for a total of $21.8 million. However, T. Higgins said he no want to go, so he want to leave. So, what do you think about the tanking Bengals?
Zach Moss, good pickup. I think so, just because from a Colts standpoint, he helped us a lot last year, more than I thought he was going to. So that's a good sign, especially with getting rid of Mixon. T. Higgins, with how it sounded, it does not sound like he wants to be with the Bengals at all next year. I know that he has been looking at the Jaguars, possibly going to reunite with his college teammate and Trevor Lawrence. That is in talks, but it's not, of course, it's just talks and rumors. Who knows if it's even true? But I think I don't see T. Higgins staying there this year as how it's going. But Zach Moss signing, I thought was pretty good for them.
All right. Well, I think Zach Moss is okay. I'm going to give Zach Moss the neutral.
I'd still give him a neutral. Yep, I'd give him a neutral.
Okay. I think Zach Moss handles the neutral there because I think he can take the number one back duty. He can handle that. I do think he's better as a backup, like a third down, fourth down kind of back. I think that's his role personally. I think in a two-man system is when he thrives. Regarding T. Higgins, I think T. Higgins is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I really do. His athleticism is above the majority of people. He's ridiculous, okay? And he's been behind Jamar Chase because Jamar Chase is even more ridiculous.
Correct.
All right? He wants to be the number one on a team.
Yep.
Where can he go where he'll be the number one on the team and have a great quarterback? I think the answer is the Chargers.
Oh.
I think the answer is the Chargers. There's nobody there anymore. They got rid of everybody. He could be the number one guy being thrown the ball by Justin Herbert. And a lot of people think Justin Herbert's washed. Watch his game film. He's not.
No, he's not.
Every interception I think he has ever, it's bounced off a wide receiver's hand. Like, it's actually ridiculous that people think that he's not a good quarterback. So Bengals, you get the negative for me. Just because you're losing crazy talent. And I don't think Zach Moss is necessarily good without a two-man system. He can handle it. But a neutral and a negative, give me the negative. So.
Yep.
You agree? You say overall negative, you think?
I'd say overall negative. Correct. I feel like they got a little bit of work to do for the Bengals, for them to get back up where they used to be.
Now, this is an interesting one for me. We got Browns signed running back Dante Foreman to a free agent deal. Okay, number one.
Yep.
Then they signed Naheem Hines from the Colts. And they signed wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. And Jerry Jeudy is getting a ton of money. 3-year contract extension, $58 million. So I'll start off here. Holy running backs. Okay. My God, how many do you need? All right. Like, poor Naheem Hines. Okay. I just want to say that. Naheem Hines is great. He's a great receiving back.
Yep.
And he's going to be vastly overshadowed by the talent on this team, and it's sad to me, okay? Because I do think that he's, again, a two-man wrecking ball in a three-man system, and he's going to be forgotten about.
I think they'll use him more on these special teams like the Bills did.
It's sad. It's sad. And I think, so Dante Foreman, what was it, 2020 or 2021, he had just a ridiculous year where he's getting like 31 points or something. Like, it was fun. It was fun. It was a fun year. But Jerry Jeudy,
I think that's a win for the Browns, in my opinion. Now, I didn't like him at the Broncos, I will say that. And I knew the Colts were kind of looking at him, and I didn't want them to get Jerry Jeudy because he just didn't fit in our system. But I feel like if there's any system that he could fit in, I think it was this one. I really do.
Are you confident in who's throwing him the ball?
Oh, absolutely not. I could tell you that right now. I mean, he's too busy. I won't say it, but yeah.
They got rid of their quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, they got rid of Joe Flacco and said, we're going with the masseuse. So I don't understand that pick, honestly. I mean, I know he's got a ton of talent still left in him.
Yep.
But can he make the plays? I don't know.
I feel like he'll play. I feel like he'll play differently with the Browns because I just feel like he wasn't all there at the Broncos. Like he knew that he didn't like that place, so he just wasn't 100%. And Courtland Sutton as well was kind of taking all the balls from him, and they also had Russell Wilson off of a very bad year. So
yeah.
But like you said, it comes down to how the quarterback is.
So, asking the Roman Emperor here, thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you got?
I'm going to go neutral. I won't go thumbs up or thumbs down. I feel like it's a neutral thing, especially adding 2 more running backs to already a really good running back team. The wide receiver, I did feel like they needed 1 more. Jerry Jeudy isn't like the all-star, but he's not bad. So I think they got a good above average player.
I think I'm going to give him a 45-degree angle up here, right here. Right there. How's that look? I like the picks. I'm not comfortable giving him a full positive because I want to see how Jerry Jeudy does in the system. But adding running backs to a almost perfect defense, like they already have the defense.
Yep.
They're bringing in offensive players that have proven themselves. I'm happy with it. Love their logo. One of the best logos. The Mastiff face. I love it. I love that they changed that. So
you did some voting on that.
I voted that one in from the very beginning. Thank you very much.
Yep, he did.
When they had all of the logos, I picked that one, and it ended up being the one.
Yep.
So just want to say that. I can see the future. One of the craziest teams this offseason, one of the highest value gain teams this offseason. You can check that. The Steelers. So the Steelers, obviously everyone knows at this point, have added Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal. Keep in mind that 1-year deal. Then they added QB Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears. Okay. And lastly, they added Van Jefferson from the Rams.
Yep.
Okay. I'll speak on this one first. Okay. So the intention that the Steelers have here is that they've come out and said that there will be no competition for quarterback. The job is Russell Wilson's. He will go out there and he will be our quarterback. And I think that is extremely smart. Russell Wilson is on the back end of his career. He's about to retire.
Yep.
He was a great career, MVP level career. Amazing. Okay. But what does he do with a 1-year deal? He allows Justin Fields to sit on that bench and learn from somebody for the first time in his career.
Correct.
Somebody with the same play style as him. Okay, so he gets veteran knowledge, and I think next year the Steelers acquire all these picks. They might even get better trades for Justin Fields, like to
be around
him.
Yep.
And I think that team's going to be scary next year. I'm not a Steelers fan. I don't really like the Steelers, but that team will be scary next year.
I'm not a Steelers fan either. I like Justin Fields, so that's the only reason I'm going.
Van Jefferson, as Correct. You've said, adds speed to that team. Which
yes,
is what they
very
needed.
much so.
So I said this before we got on this podcast. The Steelers historically have had amazing wide receivers. And then they get rid of them at weird times.
They do.
And you're like, what happened? And you look at those receivers, that next year, they tank. They're awful.
Yep.
They're god-awful. Okay? Antonio Brown. All right? Chase Claypool.
Yeah,
all right?
That's true.
Huge promise. All right, what's the guy that went to the Chiefs? The TikToker.
Oh, Juju.
Juju. Done. Gone.
Yep.
Okay, so they just got rid of Deontay Johnson, an amazing player. All right, he's being sent. I imagine if history repeats itself, that guy's going to tank this year. So.
Yep. Well, you're probably not wrong with the team he went to. So.
They held with Adam Thielen. So.
Yep.
Got anything for the Steelers?
I'd rate their offseason with a thumbs up. I think they added some great people, some great talent and future talent. I think they'll mix Justin Fields into the offense still this year when it comes to running plays, closer to – that's a big thumbs up. Yeah, look at that. I think they'll definitely use Fields maybe even in the red zone when it comes to close down plays or even comes to, just getting out of the pocket and scramble and maybe pitching it out. I think that's pretty deadly to have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields as QBs 1 and 2.
Yep. And then, all right, next team. I think a team that you and I are both super excited about, as long as everyone, as well as everyone else in the
Yep.
entire nation, and I think might be semi favorites to make it to the playoffs.
Could be.
And one of my favorite streamers' favorite teams. Here we go, brother. You know,
Is that sketch? Hello?
the Texans. Yeah. Check Tuesday. Check Tuesday.
Why Tuesday?
So the big signing for the Texans, there's been a ton. They got a lot of defensive power. I just want to say that. But we didn't put a lot of the defensive players on here. We're just going to speak about one big one, and that's adding Joe Mixon, running back Joe Mixon. I think, the value, number one, is huge because they traded him in exchange for a 7th round pick. Okay. Joe Mixon might not have been like the best running back last year, but look at his resume. He's not bottom half.
Correct.
By any means, and he's got the talent. All right. He was just on a Bengals team where they had 7 different people to throw the ball to. It's not fair. Okay. The Texans are an up and coming team, and CJ Stroud is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm super excited about that.
I'm excited
deal.
too.
Go ahead and give me that thumbs up.
Yep, thumbs up as well for me. Adding Joe Mixon, then some defenders from the Vikings that came along to the Texans as well, which will help them at the linebacker position. I don't want to say it, but I kind of want to say it because I'm a Colts fan, so they're in our division. It'll be a good head-to-head battle with the Texans this year, I think. Just hoping that we can get it done as the Colts fan, but at the same time, I won't be disappointed if the Texans do well.
I'll tell you what, I'll speak on that once. If Anthony Richardson is healthy, you got a game.
Yep.
Anthony Richardson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL as well.
Yep.
Fight me.
Yep.
Fight me. Anthony Richardson is amazing.
I know it's true.
Is amazing. He is so good. His fantasy value, even in those couple games that he was healthy, dude was getting 20s and 30s. Easy.
Yep.
Dude, he's fantastic.
I think he'll learn from last year's injuries. I think that he will take a step forward this year and hopefully, do all right. But hey, at least
I'll make another comment. I'll make another comment as well. A quarterback in the draft class that not a lot of people are talking about, Mr. Joe Milton, one of the strongest arms in the draft class, who had a bad year last year at Tennessee. Whoever gets him, fantastic job. Round of applause, because you're probably going to get him in round 3.
It's going to be like an AR.
Value, and he's a starter. I can tell you that right now.
Yep.
Next up, we have your team, the Colts. Biggest signing was QB Joe Flacco to a 1-year deal worth $8.7 million. I just want to say, Mr. Joe Flacco, in your old age, congratulations on having a great year last year and getting an 8.7 bag. To be a backup quarterback,
I know.
That's a bag.
For a year.
That's a bag. You are fantastic. And you've been a quarterback since I was like a baby.
Yep. $4.5 million guaranteed, no matter what.
You've been in the league for like 40 years?
I know.
Die already. Turn to dust.
Oh my God.
He's doing it, dude. He's doing great. He's doing it.
Hey, I'm excited as a Colts fan. I'd rather have Joe Flacco than Minshew. I will say that as a backup.
I remember being in middle school when they were in the Super Bowl. Joe Flacco was in I was like...
Against the 49ers.
It's crazy that he's still in the league.
And he won a Super Bowl. So it's good to have him on our team, and it's good to have him, being able to teach Anthony Richardson some things. So it's good. It's good for us. I'm excited about it. That's a big thumbs up. And a big thumbs up for all of the free agent signings that we did that were already on the team last year that we got back, like Kenny Moore. Then we got Franklin back. We got Grover Stewart back. I mean, we got all these guys back. So we
didn't put a lot of the keepers on here because we just assume we're the keepers at this point.
We got Pittman back too, so it was huge.
Yes. Keeping in the same division, we have the Jags next.
Yep.
Big signings are QB Mac Jones in exchange for a 6th-round pick, which I just want to say right there. Okay, there's more we're going to talk about. But Mac Jones got a 6th-round pick, okay? Rewind to the Texans. Joe Mixon was exchanged for a 7th-round pick. What?
Mm-mm.
You think Joe Mixon's worse than Mac Jones?
Not a shot, bro.
You're crazy. you're crazy.
There is
If you
no
think Mac
way.
Jones is better at all. Mac Jones is better at pounding a keg. That's about it. Okay.
I've never been a fan of him.
They also got wide receiver Gabe Davis for a 3-year, $39 million. Got a bag, and defensive lineman Arik Armstead for a 3-year, $51 million.
Bro, look at the AFC South. The AFC South is they're getting up there, man. Every team in the AFC South got all these good players now. I'm
excited about the Jags. Mac Jones, negative anywhere you go, you suck.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're a good backup, I'd say. That's the role for you if you want to be in the NFL. Fantastic for you. Gabe Davis, I think will fill the role of Calvin Ridley a lot better because I think Gabe Davis can actually catch a ball.
Stronger.
Which is where Calvin Ridley tends to fail, because he does all this amazing footwork and then never catches the ball.
Yep.
And then Arik Armstead, crazy defensive lineman, crazy, huge dude. So Jags in general, like you stay healthy.
Yep.
Fantastic team.
Agreed. Staying in the division with the Titans.
Okay. Next, quietest team. I'd say just the quietest moves that have been huge implications. Implications. Number one, QB Mason Rudolph, 1-year deal worth $2.87 million. Again, who the fuck cares? Okay,
there it is.
Mason Rudolph. He's got a huge dent in his head. All right. You remember that game?
Oh yeah, agreed.
Yep. Running back Tony Pollard, 3-year, $24 million. I'm surprised he got that much. Dude's washed. See ya. Good luck.
Adios.
I'm a Cowboys fan, by the way. Wide receiver Calvin Ridley, to one of the biggest contracts you've ever seen in your life. 4 years, $92 million for Calvin Ridley.
50 guaranteed. Gets injured.
To a guy that didn't play the previous year
for
personal issues.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Titans, they're our rivals. I don't like seeing these signings. Tony Pollard, great sign up for them. I still think he will be all right in that offense. I say all right because I just think he will just be all right. I think he'll have another year like he did last year. Calvin Ridley will help side by side with D-Hop. So you got speed and you got one of the best hands in the league on the other side. So I think that's going to be a problem for the AFC, unfortunately, especially with the Colts, as only having one really good, say kind of two good cornerbacks as of now.
We got a break.
No, you're good. And I would also say that Mason Rudolph, I don't care. That is just a third string backup. That's what I like to say. But I don't know. I feel like they're good pickups for the Titans. If you're a Titans fan, I would enjoy this a lot. But the thing is, you have to make sure that Calvin Ridley catches the ball and doesn't drop balls like he did last season. Because last season was not the best season for him. So I would be giving it, I'd say, actually, you know what? And one thing that kind of just came about a week ago, it's not, official, but it's pretty much official, is Snead going to the Titans as well, So Snead joining that secondary group is huge for the Titans, and so I think for the Titans, as in the offseason so far, I'd give a thumbs up for him, unfortunately.
That's interesting. Thumbs up. I think a lot of analysts would agree with you. I'm going to give them the neutral here. Okay, I don't think Tony Pollard offers a lot. I think they downgraded on running back, obviously.
Yep, I agree.
I don't think Mason Rudolph can even handle a backup position, so I'm going to give that a negative there. Calvin Ridley, I do give a positive. I think Calvin Ridley has the tools to be an amazing wide receiver.
Yep.
But when you can't catch the ball, it's hard to put you in that category. So $92 million is way too much money. So he's the only thing that lifts it up to neutral. But the fact that they paid him that much money kind of falls it back down for me. Yeah. So I'm going to keep it at neutral just because I think that they added they made big moves, which the Titans are not used to doing. I think getting D-Hop was the biggest thing they've ever done.
Well,
other than drafting Derrick Henry.
Correct. The thing I put I was going to be neutral, but the reason I put it up to, what's up, Tanner? How you doing? The reason I put my thumbs up for the Titans is adding Snead at cornerback. I think having Snead from the Chiefs adds another threat to their defense. So,
yeah, I think their defense is okay. It's just I don't know if their offense is gonna do it, and they need a new quarterback as well in the draft.
Oh so yeah, they need a quarterback.
We'll see what happens there. All right, moving on next to the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, adding Marquise Brown, 1-year deal worth $11 million. Go ahead and just give me the thumbs up there.
Yep.
Any guy with speed will succeed in the Chiefs,
especially in the Chiefs.
You can rhyme that till the cows come home. Any guy with speed will succeed
in the Chiefs
offense. Okay. Marquise Brown is super fast. He was downgraded because of the Cardinals, unfortunately. But I think he's going to see amazing value in front of Rashee Rice. I don't think you'll agree with that one. I think you think Rashee Rice is number 1 on the team, correct?
It's kind of a toss-up for me with adding Marquise Brown.
See what you got to say.
It depends on how the offseason goes. I think one of them could be 1, one of them could be 2. It can be either or. I still think Rice will still get some good, targets as he did last year with Marquise Brown still in there. But I think they'll both be 1 or 2. I don't think it will matter who's 1, who's 2. I still think both of them will get quite a bit of tosses to him. I mean, okay. It's an upgrade.
What do you give them?
I give him a positive for that. I mean, adding Marquise Brown as a wide receiver, I mean, they needed one, and getting one that's kind of been in the league for 3 years, I mean, it's going to help them. So,
and I've heard some analysts say that they're trying to go for Worthy in the draft, and you've said that that's more than likely not possible with the Colts now having.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be the case or not now.
However, if Worthy goes to the Chiefs, good luck playing him, dude. With Marquise Brown and Worthy, with Rashee Rice underneath, good luck, dude.
Mm-hmm. I heard it's up to grabs with both Texas wide receivers now.
Dude, I'm telling you, you're into betting. If they get Worthy, you might as well just put them down to win. Like whatever the spread is, you might as well.
I know, and I just don't want to.
$50 down, dude. They find a way, and having speed with the strongest arm in the NFL, one of the best in history.
Yep.
You can't bet against that, dude. You just can't.
Yep. Yeah, Tanner, I agree. Titans are a thumbs down for sure. Ugh.
Yeah, I gave them this. They're hovering to this.
I just don't like them, but I think they made some decent off-season moves.
All right, we have an interesting one here. Next team is Raiders. They signed quarterback Gardner Minshew to a 2-year, $25 million deal. 2-year, $25.
It's big.
And running back Alexander Mattison to a free agent deal. What do you think?
They downgraded at running back for sure. That's without a doubt. That's not even a question. Quarterback, I think they went up just a little bit maybe with Gardner, but at the same time, because they got rid of Garoppolo, I can't even pronounce his last name, but you know what I mean, Jimmy G. They got rid of him. Yep. And so now it's up with O'Connell and Minshew. So I think Minshew will win that battle. I think he'll be the starter. I just don't know how he would fit in with the Raiders' offense. But Alexander Mattison is a downgrade. I'm going to give the Raiders a thumbs down on this one. Getting rid of Josh Jacobs is a huge, huge hit to your team.
Interesting. Yeah, so first off, I'll say Gardner Minshew is 100% winning that. Gardner Minshew is an amazing quarterback compared to Aiden O'Connell. Sorry, Purdue. So for Gardner Minshew in itself, give me a thumbs up, only because he is much better. I don't think Gardner Minshew is the savior of your team in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
However, he is much better than Aiden O'Connell. Also, I don't think you're going to get to keep your wide receiver. So I think he's going to be looking for other options.
That's true. I think about that. Yeah.
So, secondly, Madison is much worse than Josh Jacobs. That's a fact.
Fact, easily.
I'm interested to see where the Raiders go in the draft. because I've heard people talk about the Raiders trying to get Michael Penix Jr. And if Michael Penix is on that team, I'm excited about him. I just want to say that.
Correct.
Michael Penix is a great quarterback, and I think he'd fit really well throwing the ball to Devontae. So
I could see that. Oh yeah, Tanner. That is. Oh no, you're good. You're good. Continue.
With Tanner.
Oh, I forgot about Cordell Patterson to the Steelers. We already went through the Steelers, and I forgot about that.
That's true. Yes, Cordell Patterson to the Steelers. Yep. But I'll say if they sign Michael Penix Jr., give me a thumbs up, actually. But as of right now, give me a thumb to the side because Gardner Minshew's an up and Madison's a down. So give me that neutral. Yeah,
alrighty.
I'm fair there.
All right, we'll go to Tanner's favorite team here.
Yes, the LA Chargers. So the biggest signing right now is Gus Edwards at running back. 2-year, $6.5 million deal. I'm big on Gus Edwards.
I think it's a good pickup for him.
I think Gus Edwards is big.
Yep.
However, what is Gus Edwards' strength? He's tall and big as shit. You already have one of those. You already have one, Chargers. You already have one. You need the little guy that's quick.
Oh,
so
ship him off.
I'm actually going to give them the negative right now, okay? Right now, they get the negative. I'm interested to see what they do in the draft. They need to do a lot in the draft.
They have
no wide receivers. They have Gus Edwards at running back when they had Eckler. So it is a downgrade at every position. And Justin Herbert, you play for an LA team that isn't willing to pay out for you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else to say, man. Something's got to give, or else you need to go to another team. I actually think the Chargers should give, during the draft, they should trade for one of the picks and probably just get J.J. McCarthy, because you have Harbaugh there, and just revamp and sell Herbert and a bunch of other things and just redo it.
Wow.
Because Justin Herbert, you have all the value there, but you have nothing else around him, so you're just screwing his career. I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan, so I'm pissed that he's in the system that's screwing him offensively. Their defense is decent.
They got a top 10 pick, correct? I believe they do. And if that is the case, I think if they get one wide receiver in the draft, I think they'll be all right with Herbert. Because I like Herbert. I think nothing's wrong with Herbert. I think it was the coaching. And now that he just needs players around him. They got rid of all the players that were around him.
They have 5.
They have pick 5, and they'll need a wide receiver.
Yes, they need a wide receiver.
I think if they just pick up one of the wide receivers that are in the draft, I think that would be great for Herbert. I mean, with all the good wide receivers in the draft this year, with them picking up at least one of them, I think they'll be fine.
I just don't know if it's enough.
No, they still need more around them. I get it, but I just think it was the coaching last year.
Marvin Harrison's gone because he'll be gone before then.
Probably the Cardinals. Yep.
Okay, so you get to pick between Romeo Dunze,
which is great,
and
Neighbors.
Neighbors.
Yep.
Neighbors from LSU, and I can't pick between those two. Number one, okay, they're equal to me,
and I think either or will fit perfect in that system with him. I truly do.
One.
I get it.
So that's what's I'm worried about for him.
Yeah.
And Gus Edwards, I don't know.
And they got rid of Hendricks on defense too, which isn't a good.
They need offensive linemen too.
Yeah.
Because Justin Herbert gets hurt every season.
Well, I know that was the Titans. I was looking at Joe Alt. I for sure, if you're a Chargers fan, you want them to pick up a wide receiver for first pick. I don't care if you need linemen. You can get that later on in the draft on the next round. Get a top wide receiver in this draft to help out your quarterback.
Yeah, Tanner says 6, but 6 is the New York Giants. They're 5.
Okay. So yeah, and the Giants are going to pick a wide receiver too. So if they don't pick
Giants,
one, if they don't pick one in the first round, I think they're going to get screwed on wide receivers.
We'll move right into Giants. Speaking of Giants, okay, I love the Giants. I'm just going to say that right there. Okay, I think the world of the Giants. 2 years ago, not this last season, but the season before that, they did awesome. Okay. So they got rid of Saquon Barkley, as everybody knows. They picked up Drew Lock to a 1-year, $5 million. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Okay, I don't think he's even backup material. I don't think Danny Dimes is starting material. I think they also need a quarterback in the draft. I think Joe Milton, third round, would be kind of huge value for the New York Giants.
No more DeVito. No more DeVito there. He's gone.
Love DeVito.
He's gone. He's not there anymore.
So Drew Lock, 1 year, $5 million, and then running back Devin Singletary to a free agent contract. So Devin Singletary, I'm huge on. The Texans, I'm kind of sad he left the Texans, to be honest. I think it was a good system for him.
It was.
Giants need offensive linemen and wide receivers.
Yes, very much so. And
so
I know
the draft.
I know they were looking at Neighbors for a wide receiver. I saw in some mock drafts that Neighbors and this guy from Washington, Ozume, however you pronounce his last name. Yep. They're looking at those two guys for sure. But yeah, they need just like the Chargers, they need another wide receiver and they need offensive line. I mean, they're both kind of in the same boat.
Yep. That's pretty much all I have to say about them.
I'd say, I mean, Devin Singletary was a good signing. I think he had a decent ending of the year last year. Do I think he'll do good in the Giants system? I can't tell you that because look at Barkley last year and how he did. And I think he's a way better running back than Devin Singletary is. So, I mean, maybe Singletary might have just a little bit more speed on him. I don't know. It's still probably about the same. But, yeah, I'd stay away from him in free agents in drafting him this year.
Yeah, so one of the biggest teams this offseason has been the Eagles. So they got QB Kenny Pickett.
Ooh.
For a lot of random picks.
Yeah.
Running back Saquon Barkley from the Giants. 3 year, $37.75 million, which I believe is the largest running back contract ever in history. Wide receiver Devontae Parker, but you haven't heard his name in a while. 1 year deal.
Yep.
Wide receiver Paris Campbell, 1 year deal.
Old Colt.
And safety CJ Gardner-Johnson to a 3 year, $33 million deal.
Going back to the team where he said the fans are trash.
What do you got to say about this team?
I mean, it's pretty simple. A thumbs up easily for these pickups. Kenny Pickett, I don't care about. Barkley is the main. Actually, Barkley and CJ Gardner-Johnson, I feel like, are two big pickups for them. Devontae Parker will be an all right pickup. He'll be better than Paris Campbell. But yeah, Barkley, that's just not fair, especially with how the Eagles are on the run game. So I think he'll have, if you need a fantasy running back this year, he is probably going to be number one on the list. So especially in that Eagles offense. So, well, due to injuries, just be prepared.
Yeah. So to preface this, I'm a Cowboys fan. Okay. I don't think having number one player value at every position is necessarily a good thing always. Mm-hmm. For example, NBA teams that try to do these
super teams,
power fives that every single player is a ball hog. It doesn't work out.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I'm interested to see how Saquon Barkley, a number one running back, plays with Jalen Hurts, a number one quarterback.
Yep.
Plays with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Both can be number one wide receivers on a team. Devontae Parker, who was just a wide receiver one on Patriots, and Paris Campbell, who's arguably a wide receiver two for a team.
Yep.
That's a lot of ones.
It is.
I don't know how that necessarily works out. And
a lot of wasted talent.
A.J. Brown was pissed last year when he had one game where he didn't get it. Like, he got like 2 targets, and he was livid. So when Saquon gets the ball half this time, what's A.J. going to do?
Yeah.
It's going to tank some of their attitudes. It's going to be locker room cancer. I'm giving them a thumbs up just in the fact that they have a lot of talent, but
mm-hmm.
I see it going negatively, especially with how the last
end of the year went.
6-game stretch of losing.
And you got to think Kelsey's not there either anymore.
Yeah.
So it helps with the push.
Moving on next, we have the Redskins. And yes, I'm saying Redskins because the National Redskin Organization is currently signing a petition to get the name put back from the Commanders to the Redskins because it is celebratory for a group of people that should be celebrated and should not be looked down upon.
Correct.
Redskins were awesome people and an awesome tribe. They signed QB Marcus Mariota to a 1-year, $6 million deal. They signed running back Austin Eckler to a 2-year deal worth $11.43 million. They signed wide receiver Jamison Crowder to a free agent deal, and tight end Zach Ertz to a 1-year deal worth $5 million. Also, linebacker Bobby Wagner to a 1-year deal worth $8.5 million. I'm just gonna go ahead and give that a thumbs up.
Yeah,
Good Lord,
easily.
Redskins,
Easily.
biggest moves you've ever made, ever.
Welcome back.
Marcus Mariota, fantastic QB2. All right, whoever they're going to get in the draft, you're going into a good system at this point. Austin Eckler, one of the best running backs, had a bad year, a down year last year, but I think he can come back up in a good system. Jamison Crowder, wide receiver 2 in any program. Zach Ertz can be a tight end 1 in any program. Bobby Wagner, one of the best to ever do it.
Correct.
So,
nothing to disagree here. I think that is all well said.
Yep. We can just go ahead and move on from that one pretty quickly. Next is the Bears. Very interesting team. So a lot of controversy swirling over this team in the offseason, but they made their move. They got rid of Justin, and it's just how it is.
Yep.
You know, no more Fields. And so they signed running back DeAndre Swift to a 3-year, $24 million.
Big pickup.
Wide receiver Keenan Allen.
Huge
for
pickup.
For only a 4th-round pick. Mind you, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Still, 4th-round pick.
Yep.
Chargers getting fleeced, dude. What is going on in LA?
Didn't want to pay them.
And tight end Gerald Everett, 2-year, $12 million. What do you think?
They take both of the Chargers superstars in Keenan Allen and Everett. So I think they're great pickups for the Bears, especially with going to have Caleb Williams. I'm still trying to get on the Caleb Williams boat. I'm still not there yet. I still would rather have had Fields, in my opinion, but it's not up to me. DeAndre Swift, he's injury prone, but at the same time, he did have a pretty good, decent year last year with the Eagles. And I know the Bears will run the ball. And then you got wide receiver Keenan Allen on the other side of the field with DJ Moore. What perfect wide receivers can you ask for coming into your first year at the Bears with Caleb Williams? And then you got Gerald Everett, which the Bears are already solid at tight ends with Cole Kmet. So, I mean, you're just adding to the tight end roster. So I think thumbs up easily for the Bears.
Yeah, easy thumbs up. You have one of the best running backs and crazy wide receiver core. If Caleb Williams doesn't do well, you ask the question, what the hell? Yep. I mean, you're coming into one of the best systems with best surrounding people.
Yep.
So
and you got signings as well for their defense too, with Johnson re-signed back with them as free safety, as well as Owens, Simone Biles' husband. He came from the Packers to the Bears now, and I know Simone is a little happy because that's where she's from, Chicago, so she don't have to travel now.
There you go. All right, moving on. Next, we have the taxpayer team, the Packers. Signed Josh Jacobs to a 4-year, $48 million, and safety Xavier McKinney to a 4-year, $68 million. So I'll go ahead and give him that thumbs up. Josh Jacobs, I think him and Aaron Jones are even.
Yeah,
I do think they're even.
Different styles.
But securing Josh Jacobs for 4 years, that's a plus. And Xavier McKinney's fantastic. So Packers, young team that have a good future ahead of them with a good quarterback. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and they've upgraded at the safety position for sure. Getting rid of Owens, like I just talked about, but then going up to McKinney. I mean, that's a big switcheroo. So that's a great move by them. They're going to be hard to beat next year. I'm telling you right now, the NFC North. Watch out for the Packers.
Yeah, they can be for sure. Next is the Vikings. QB Sam Darnold, 1 year, $8.75 million, and running back Aaron Jones, 1 year, $7 million. So Sam Darnold is 100% a backup. They are 100% going for a QB.
Are you sure? What?
I've heard a lot that they want JJ McCarthy. I'm not sure how he fits into that system. I
think he'd be all right.
I think anyone throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson will be
correct.
Pretty good, as seen by Joshua Dobbs.
If there was anyone in the draft that I feel like would fit with the Vikings offense, I would say J.J. McCarthy would be it.
Interesting.
I would say that. He reminds me of kind of like a Kirk Cousins, just a little bit faster. And a lot more athletic. I'll say that too. But at the same time, just the throw style. He's patient in the pocket, but he can actually get out of the pocket, unlike Cousins. But at the same time, I feel like he'll be fine in that system.
Again, I think my stupid hope wants Joe Milton in the Vikings. I think that would be awesome too. I really do. I think if they could use their first pick for like Joe Alt, like just a crazy lineman, and then save a second, third for Joe, I think the value's there. I just do. I think you can get two amazing players for the price of one. So, moving on, we have the Falcons, which arguably is one of the best off seasons this off season. QB Kirk Cousins, 4-year, $180 million. Kirk, 4 years, dude. The guy's already dust. That's amazing.
For one playoff win his entire career.
Wide receiver Darnell Mooney, 3-year, $39 million. Wide receiver Rondell Moore in a trade with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
For QB Desmond Ridder, 1-1. And a wide receiver Ray McLeod signed a 2-year contract at worth $6 million. What do you think?
Ray, I think he's starting to get a little washed. He will slowly vanish, I think. He was on the Colts 2 years ago. We picked him up, and he kind of suffered a little bit. Darnell Mooney, I think it's a good pickup for the Falcons. They do need another wide receiver other than Drake London. In Rondell Moore, he's quick, so that's another big plus. That kind of gets rid of the Cordell Patterson discussion right there. And then now you also have, Kirk Cousins at quarterback with the running back. Why am I spacing his name? Bijan Robinson. So, I mean, I think they're solid. And I think it's a thumbs up for them.
Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I think Kirk Cousins vastly increase in quarterback. You have Darnell Mooney, you have Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore, I'm huge on, went to Purdue. He's fantastic. He was in a horrible organization with the Cardinals. Huge addition there. And I think for the first time in Kyle Pitts' career, he is draftable in fantasy. He will get a lot of catches. Kirk Cousins loves throwing to his catches. And that evidence comes with TJ Hawkinson up at the Vikings. Amazing team. Super excited about Atlanta. Let's move on. Panthers' biggest signing is Deontay Johnson, as we talked about earlier, and that's for a 7th-round pick. As I've said, Deontay Johnson is very good, a very good player, in a very bad organization now. And so you're going to see him tank just like all the Steelers do to wide receivers. So for the Panthers, give me a thumbs up because you're getting a good wide receiver, a big guy. You have Adam Thielen on the other side. But is that value there for you?
I'm ready for it. And they got rid of Burns on defense.
So
to the Giants.
Panther, what are you doing, South Carolina?
They got rid of their best defensive player, too.
Carolina in total, just
got rid of their best defender, too. Why?
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Moving on, we have the New Orleans Saints. They signed Chase Young to a 1-year, $13 million, and they got Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger safety, 2-year, $13.7 million.
That's a big re-sign.
Both of them huge re-signs. I think they need a little more to be a strong team. But for those two signings, thumbs up. However, you need a lot more.
And Chase Young, and just a heads up, Chase Young is going through neck surgery currently. So
gotcha.
He said he will be ready, and they were aware of the situation before they signed him, but he said they will be ready for the season. But that's just something just to be cautious on throughout the year.
Now, I'm not sure who's going to be the quarterback for this team. Do you know? Jameis Winston's gone.
No, it's Derek Carr.
Yeah, but
it's going to be Derek Carr.
We're rocking with that?
He had a great end of the year last year. It's going to be Derek Carr. I always was on Derek Carr last year, towards the end of the year, that is. At the end of the year, he thrived. But that was about it. This guy, man. This guy right here, bro. This guy.
Point to the other side. Yeah, point to the other side. What are you point? It's this side.
On my side is this side.
No, it's this side. Look
that's right here.
Look at YouTube, bro.
I am looking at YouTube. It's showing it.
point to dumb side. Cardinals, Desmond Ritter, acquired in a trade with Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Randall Moore. Go ahead and give me the negative on that one.
Yep.
I don't think Desmond Ritter is very good at all. I watched him. We actually both watched him play in person.
Yep.
We were at the Notre Dame Cincinnati game when they both were undefeated. When they were in college. Sad ending, but Desmond Ritter just doesn't look like it. He didn't look like it in person, to be honest. He's not it.
Nope.
Cardinals suck in general.
I agree. He's just going to be a good backup quarterback.
Bad backup quarterback.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Rams signed Jimmy Garoppolo, Mr. Big Sexy, to a 1-year base $4.5 million, max value $12 million. It's a lot of money for him. I think.
Go neutral on this one.
Again, to be a backup, he's not to start.
Yep.
You know, that job's not his. So to spend $12 million on a backup, I mean, Joe Flacco got 8.7, and he was a playoff quarterback.
Yep.
So I'm gonna, for the money, give me negative. Give me a thumbs down, bro. It's just it's not worth it for me just to get a bunch of females in the crowd because they think it's sexy. I don't know. I don't think it.
And plus,
I don't see it.
Los Angeles teams, they never have a good crowd anyways.
No, I mean Dodgers do.
Well, that's the only assumption.
They have the highest amount of attendance, actually. By the way, the LA Dodgers, but other teams like USC and UCLA, people leave it first quarter, bro. Just horrible attendance.
All right, we got to get things moving. We got 3 minutes.
We only got 2 more. So 49ers QB Joshua Dobbs, 1 year, 2.25. Give me the negative on that one. I don't like it. I
go neutral. I like Dobbs, but if he played like he did with the Vikings those first couple of games, it'll be all right. But other than that, that's about it. He's been moving around a lot the past year.
Next is Seahawks QB Sam Howell, acquired in a trade
be interesting
for some picks. Give me a thumbs up. He was the leader in passing yards for the majority of the season. Okay, I think he's a vast upgrade, and I think he'll do well in the system with Metcalf. So.
Agreed.
All right, we're gonna round this show out with. I want you to tell me top 3 teams that you think had the best offseason. Okay, I'll go ahead and start. Give you some time to think. Okay, sound good?
I'm already ready, but go ahead.
I'm already ready. At number 3, I'm gonna go with the Redskins. Give me 3 Redskins. I think they added a lot. Austin Eckler, Crowder, Ertz, Bobby Wagner. Give me all that. I'm excited for a team that sucked last year. You made some of the biggest moves. Number 2, give me the Eagles. I think you have the most talent of any team rostered currently, and it's yours to lose. I think you are the favorite for the Super Bowl, and if you don't win, most of these people are signed to a 1-year deal anyways. Paris Campbell, Devontae Parker, most of them are signed to 1 year, so if it's not now, then when? Okay, good luck. At number 1, give me the Atlanta Falcons, bro. I'm excited about the Atlanta Falcons. Give me Kirk Cousins. Give me Kyle Pitts.
I'm not jumping on that bandwagon, but
Pitts. Give me the Falcons. I'm excited. Bijan, thank God, he finally is fantasy worthy.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Give me your top 3. I want to hear it.
You'll be surprised. My 3 and 4. So I had 4 because I have 2 tied at 3.
That's weak.
Okay, then I won't do it. So my number 3 will be the Eagles. Just because of Barkley. It's a huge signing. I don't care how many other people they added. Barkley is that main signing that they needed. And number 2 would probably be... You'll be surprised with my number 1, by the way. Number 2 will be the Ravens because of Derrick Henry, for sure. As a number 1 ad that they needed. I feel like that will get them over the hump. What? What's the 4?
They were at 4 for me.
Okay. And number 1, the Miami Dolphins.
Ew.
I know they didn't do anything hardly on their offensive side, but their defensive side is low-key kind of scary of the people they added with their secondary.
You think the Falcons aren't worthy of top 3?
I think the Falcons will just be average this year. I don't think they'll be. It's a hot take, guys. You can take it here right now. I think the Falcons will just be an average team. They'll be better than last year.
Bro,
They're just going to be an average team.
Let him drop to me in fantasy.
Who? Pitts?
Kyle Pitts. I'll draft him.
That's fine.
Let him drop.
I think Kyle Pitts will do great in fantasy. I do. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying as an overall team with their final record, I think they'll be better than last year and maybe 1 or 2 games over 500.
Hot take. You heard it here first.
Hot take. I'm just saying that Dolphins secondary, they have added some major players in their secondary.
All right, everybody. You heard it here first. This wraps up our free agency recap. All the big moves, all the big trades from all the big teams. So if you have any comments, go ahead and throw them at the bottom of the video. We'll make sure to get back to you at our next video. We will be having a video Thursday because the opening season for baseball starts this Thursday. And so we'll be talking about fantasy baseball. We are in a fantasy baseball together, a group together. And so we will be talking about all of the big news as well as Shohei Ohtani and the news surrounding.
Yeah.
So gamble away.